This is Kerrigan and Company. Some banks focus on transactions. At Rockland Trust, we focus on people. Relationships come first because financial success isn't built in a single meeting or a single moment. It's built over time by listening and showing up, by being in your corner through every stage of life or business. Come bank where your relationship matters. Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters. Member FDIC. It's getting Haute in here on this episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Welcome, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. Great to have you with us today. And today's show is, it's about the good life. Let me put it that way. This is a show about singers, and I think they're going to be one that you really know and one that you don't know, but you will very soon. And then I am joined, and keeping me company today, is a woman who I hope is living her best life. She is the co-founder of the Haute Life. It's a blog that supports overall challenges and finding and living your life's passions. It is so great to have with me today Jessica Hennessy. It's nice to see you.
Thank you, Kim. It's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for having me today.
Gosh, please. I say that I hope you're living your great life, and because Haute Life, that's what it means,
sure,
right?
So
best life.
Yes, it's the high life, and to my fellow blogging friend Kim and I, the high life was finding your life's passion and living it.
Absolutely.
Whether that's cooking, fashion, a cause that you're into. Once you are in that zone, you are then in the Haute Life.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into that, and we want to talk a whole lot more about that, you and I didn't realize this, but our paths have crossed before. You were a writer in the Channel 7 newsroom when I was a news anchor there.
Back in the day, and just saying you haven't changed. Everybody looks exactly the same.
I don't mention that so that you can say that, but that is very kind of you to say. I'm not sure if that's true.
No,
but so you came out of school thinking maybe you were going to go into broadcasting.
Yep. So had been the UMass news anchor. Was just really passionate about telling stories with journalism, and got a job started off as an intern in college, and then got a job as a PA, and then moved up, took the writing test with Linda Mealy, and it was really exciting. It was, I guess it was also eye-opening to what the industry really was and the amount of time you have to put into it.
Sure.
And so I was deferring student loans and kind of looking at what do I really want to do, and honestly was probably a little chicken to send out my resume tape. And that's why I give anyone who's in that industry so much credit, because you take a leap of faith moving to some small town somewhere in the country.
Right.
And I had also fallen in love, so I opted to go the more corporate route and got into technical writing.
Sure, absolutely. Your life, while you may be the co-founder of the Haute Life right now, it's not always been great. It's been tough.
Yep.
And you were going to say you're not I'm not saying that.
No. So wait, we'll backtrack really quickly.
Sure.
Where probably maybe around 2010, I had a friend, a couple other girlfriends who had this blog called the Haute Mamas.
Yes.
And they had asked me if I wanted to blog because they knew that I was a writer. And at the time, I was running a moving and storage company, didn't have the time, but also social media was kind of in its infancy. And so I was a little nervous about putting myself out there.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, my husband at the time, eventually, he had stomach cancer and then passed away. And at the same time, the Haute Mamas had sort of faded a little bit, and the women had left, and Kim was still there. And unfortunately, her ex-husband passed away of a heart attack at the same time. So we started texting each other for support and talking to each other, and just kind of came up with the idea with hey, maybe let's get back into this, but with a different purpose. And that purpose was sharing our experience about grief and trying to take a situation and make it positive. And Kim had 4 kids as a single mom. She's done an amazing job with all of these children. One's playing football in Europe, and they're incredible. She's incredible. Yeah. But from there, we then, which by the way was very therapeutic actually, and so I went from this point of not wanting to put myself out there to then opening up my heart, and found that it was a really great way to heal.
Absolutely. Now, do you have children?
I do have 2.
So you also were left behind with the 2 children.
2 and 4.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
And it was really tough.
Running the business. So eventually I sold the business and tried to focus on them and
So
myself.
for those, I know you mentioned it, but so you and your husband owned a moving business, which I'm sure. Were you involved in the moving business directly? Yeah, you were.
Yes.
You were.
So
Okay.
I ran it for about 2 years after he passed. And it was just a lot. I needed a break.
Absolutely.
And there's no break in that industry. You get calls at midnight, like, there's a flood at the house, or someone can't show up to drive. It's like, I just need some time off.
Absolutely.
And then Kim and I really dove in and kind of went head first and said, okay, let's make this more, let's expand this. Like, we're trying to be passionate about life. Let's find other people are. So from there, we were able to interview great people like Rhonda Kallman from Boston Distillery, some of the dancers at the Boston Ballet, just people who really grab a hold of the things they love.
Yeah.
And we wanted to showcase that.
Absolutely. And you have done a beautiful job, and the digital version of it it's really great. What's the high life for you?
Eating cheese and drinking wine.
Wow, a woman of my...
The high life for me, I guess, is just, nowadays, because I'm a mom, it's just making sure my kids are happy and seeing that they're in the best possible place. That really is what means the most to me.
Sure, absolutely. How old are your children now?
They are 14 and 16.
Yeah, so you're right. Oh, boys. You're in the heat of it all, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're great. But they're,
but when you talk to people, and as a result of the blog, what do you think most people? I think a lot of people think that the high life is if you've got a lot of money and you've got expensive things and so on and so forth. What do you find most people are saying?
I think that you're right. I think that the term, because of haute couture, kind of did give people the wrong impression. But once they start to read the stories and read the angles, I think it changes their mind. And also, I was just surprised at the people who were like, sure, yeah, I'd love to be involved. I'd love for you to interview me or come do a video. So it was really exciting and just felt like we were doing something really positive and putting positive stuff out there.
Absolutely. And it's really cool because you were saying that you went from doing this in its digital form, writing, to now video.
Right.
Which is sort of the natural progression for something like this.
Sure. And so, when I left Mercury Moving and I sold it, I thought, look, hey, I can just go become a writer everywhere. But at that time, the magazines were kind of reinventing themselves. Yeah. And so I said, well, I know how to put together a news package from back in the day. And now it's even easier because it's digital editing. So you're not doing like analog. Yeah. So from there, now what I do mostly is I create video packages for clients, which is a lot of fun.
Which is awesome. So tell me about that. What's that?
So around COVID, when it was kind of hard to manage the blog and I was trying to figure out what to do, I had a friend who asked me if I wanted to come and kind of consult for their social media for a dermatologist's office in Wellesley. I was like, sure. And the first couple of videos we did, I hired a videographer and editor. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to learn how to do this on my own. Bought Adobe Premiere Pro, took some videos, got in there, and from there it grew. And it's a lot of fun. Now I have a lot of clients that are in the health and wellness and aesthetics industry, but also like a workman's comp insurance company, so it runs the gamut.
Good for you. Are you enjoying it?
I love it. Yeah, it's great. I love being creative. In some ways, it is like writing and editing, that you can take different chunks from different places and put them in, and so it's enjoyable. I'm satisfied with it.
Jessica, it seems to me over the course of time, because I had hoped that this is what we would lay out, and we have, starting with the fact that you went to school and then you came to be a writer and so on and so forth. Then you went through all these different phases. You have been a woman who has reinvented yourself over and over again, but in a way sort of circling back to the beginning.
Right. It does feel like
Does that make any sense?
It does. Sometimes I feel like I've lived like 10 different lives, but they have all helped to give me experience and knowledge to be where I am now and feel confident in what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, good for you. It's so great. The blog still exists.
Yep.
And how frequently do you guys update it?
So it's been hard. So Kim and I live in Sudbury. She's in Mattapoisett. So it was hard to kind of meet up, especially with COVID. That kind of put things on the back burner, and she was managing getting her kids off to college. So right now it's maybe once a month. We always talk about collaborating with each other, but now that we're both working, it's hard to figure out what we're going to do. But we are, because this year marks the 10th anniversary of the Haute Life.
Awesome.
From when before it was the Haute Mamas. So we would like to do something together again.
Awesome. That's great. So if people want to check it out, they can just...
Oh, yes, I'd love for them
Yeah,
to.
yeah, it's
Instagram,
great.
anywhere.
Absolutely. Terrific. Well, I just love this story because I know that you've had these very difficult times, and yet you found a way to continue to move forward, and you've done a great job of trying...
I ended up getting remarried, and he's been a great father to my children.
Awesome.
And so life is good.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's the highlight.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
We do a thing here called the Fast Five.
Okay.
So it's rapid fire 5 questions. Fast Five is brought to us by Rockland Trust Bank, where each relationship matters. Visit your nearest branch or go to rocklandtrust.com, and you'll learn more about the bank. Are you ready, ma'am?
I guess.
Here we go. If you could only drink one kind of wine for the rest of your life, would you pick a red, a white, or a rosé?
I guess Chardonnay.
Okay, so a white. What was the most difficult thing you were asked to move when you ran that moving company?
Oh, we moved the National Parks and Recs Association when they redid the New Balance building. That was
Really?
terrifying. Terrifying. Like ancient maps, all of this stuff. That was scary.
What is one thing that is always in your purse?
Well, lip gloss.
What's your favorite flower?
Oh boy. I guess Bird of Paradise is pretty cool flower.
Absolutely. And what are you having for dinner?
Tonight, nothing yet. I don't have to head to the grocery store. I have to be thinking about that.
You and I will run into each other there. How about that?
Okay.
I love
Deal.
that. We asked Jessica, who would you love to interview? And you brought us our next guest.
Yes.
She is a singer, a jazz singer. Oh, she is so good. You know, jazz is having a resurgence.
Right, Olivia Dean. And so
Yes.
our next guest has always been jazz. And so it's kind of like the scene is caught up to her. That's great.
Crazy story. Her background is so interesting, too. She didn't really start to sing like this for a long time.
Well, there's one little unknown fact
Oh,
so she had been a contestant on American Idol and made it to a certain point a long time ago. But then from there had,
yeah.
kind of let it go. So
Well, we've got to ask her about the whole thing.
Absolutely.
I can't wait. Jessica Hennessy is keeping me company today. Everybody stay with us. Coming up next, a very special singer. This is Kerrigan & Company. Banking shouldn't feel transactional. It should feel personal. At Rockland Trust Bank, we take the time to get to know what matters for your business so we can support what comes next, not just today, but for years to come. Because when you have a banker who knows your business, understands your goals, and sees your vision, that partner can make all the difference. Come bank where your relationship matters. Rockland Trust Bank, where each relationship matters. Go to rocklandtrust.com for more information. Member FDIC. Do you need to buy new technology? Let AGI Beacon help you buy better tech for less. The team at AGI Beacon understands technology from the inside out. AGI Beacon provides expert guidance to help businesses navigate complex technology decisions with clarity. With AI transforming business operations at an unprecedented pace, having the right advisory partner is no longer an option. Go to agibeacon.com today to learn how they can help you with all your technology needs. That's agibeacon.com. This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Allure Matchmaking. Your forever after is waiting for you. Find them through Allure Matchmaking. Go to allurematchmaking.com today. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. Great to have you with us today. And, of course, keeping me company today is Jessica Hennessy. And Jessica is the co-founder of the Haute Life. And we're thrilled that you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I asked Jessica, as I said in the first block, is there somebody that you'd like to interview? And you immediately, came up with a name, and I'm so glad that you did.
Right.
Joining us is Melissa Lena, and she is a jazz singer, and she is really terrific. And if you've never heard of Melissa, first off, I want you to YouTube her right this very second. Well, no, wait till the end of the podcast, and then YouTube her. My producer's going to come over here and yank me out of the chair. But she's also got some very exciting news that's going to happen here very quickly. Great to see you.
Thank you, and thank you, Kim, for having me on. And Jess, thank you for thinking of me. This is perfect timing. Right now, jazz is having a moment, but this has always been my wheelhouse. I'm really excited, though, because the timing of this was perfect. I have new music coming out on Friday, so tune in. I have it. It'll be on all platforms, Spotify as my main source, and Apple TV.
That's awesome.
I'm really excited, though, for you to listen because this is a really personal project. You know, I took this on out of passion. I'm really excited about the music. It is essentially the heartbeat of the album is keeping up with the Joneses. So for me, when I think of keeping up, we're all keeping up in a way. You know, it's what does that polish cost? And a reminder to all of us not to worry so much about what it looks like and remember what it feels like. And jazz really has a great, easy way to do that. Yeah. So Friday, keeping up with the Joneses will be the first part of it. Everything is taking longer. I was talking with Jess earlier. Everything is taking longer than I imagined it would.
Yeah.
It's humbling, but I'm really excited.
Oh, you should be. You should be. And you have a fabulous voice.
Thank you.
And a beautiful presence, by the way, not just your voice, which is a big part of jazz, by the way. I personally think, you know,
it's
your
unhurried,
presence.
right?
Yeah,
Unhurried.
Beautiful.
yeah, there you go.
I mean, Melissa's just a beautiful person in general, but when you hear her music, it all comes together. And I'm just so proud of you and so excited that you're here.
Jess, thank you. Every time we're together, we end up doing something fun. Anytime with Jess, we collab on a lot of things.
Awesome.
We
Awesome.
go back. We go back.
Well, let's go back
Let's
for
go
a second
back.
and talk a little bit about your career. Jess just told me something that I didn't know, and that's that you were on American Idol.
Yes.
So was that your first exposure? I mean,
Totally.
big exposure.
You know,
Okay.
I think in general, for me, I'm not so afraid of being, you know, seen on as far as like this world online, and it's vast. You know, you're getting a lot of eyes on you, but I am really worried about being misunderstood for some reason still. So I'm trying to get that right in my writing. But American Idol, wow, what an experience that you just brought that back. It was fun. It was wonderful. But I think at 16, I was just eye in the skies, like, what is going on? I didn't know what to really expect. Although I had some training, I was at the American Idol camp. So they prepped us. There was a lot there. You know, we had tips and tricks for auditions, but that was like my telltale story of all time, that I was the first to attend the American Idol camp.
Wow.
I had someone reach out the other day, actually online. They said they went to camp with me. It was
that's so
Oh,
funny.
that's so fun.
So internet has a fun way
Camp
of connecting.
friends.
Yeah, it does. Right. Kind of bring you full circle, right? What year would that have been?
So I want to say it was 2010.
Yeah, so you were back in the original days of
Exactly.
American
Thank
Idol.
you.
When American
Right.
Idol was,
It was fun.
really tough, too.
Totally.
Yeah, how far did you get?
They don't show you a lot of the background.
Yeah, of
You know,
course they
there's
don't.
a lot of process. There
Right.
was like 3 or 4 different rounds of interviews and auditions before you even make it onto the show.
Sure.
And I think the biggest reality check was, you know, you're not really meeting with the judges at first. It's the producers, and, you know, there's a lot that you can learn from these professionals that are helping you there, but you don't know until
Sure.
you get there.
Yeah, people don't understand that. I worked for Fox, so I had pretty much exposure to American Idol when it was American Idol. You know, and with that, I think that was the thing that a lot of people didn't understand. They were first making a television show, first and foremost, and
Exactly.
then they were also finding some really incredible talent. So that's great, and that was cool, and you got some exposure, and you certainly, I'm sure, learned a lot. But then you sort of fell back for a while.
I held back,
What happened in
kept it
between?
from my friends and my family. You know, I think in general, I pursued more of the business side of things, and I got really interested. Actually, I was like questioning. I think I'm very curious. You know, so I was able to go to school and I studied the business of music, and I was looking at, you know, what is the future of music? What does that look like? And, you know, live entertainment, live shows, that's where it is. That's where it remains. And that's like my honey spot. You know, I really think it's sweet to be able to get up. I see a microphone, I want to get up on stage still. So I would still do it. You know, I stopped pursuing it as in the hot seat. Like, I was more behind the scenes, always amongst other creatives, like with Jess, getting my hands in anything I could. And, you know, it brings you into weird situations you don't even expect to be in sometimes, like doing a shoot at Alice and Olivia.
Melissa used to was my photographer when I was doing some posting with Alice and Olivia. And I'll have to say, I'd look at the photos and be like, that I look so good. How did that happen, Melissa?
You look amazing.
She has a great eye and apparently a great ear and a great business sense. So I think that you going to school for business, how does that influence you now as an artist?
That's a great question. I think that the speed and the point of entrance it's its pace, right? It's really getting out there and getting a lot of things out at a fast pace, and I want to stay in my lane of being unhurried and jazz and getting a nice balance between the two of those. Because I think people want that. People want the real experience. I think right now that's having a moment, is being authentic, right? It's almost like it needs a hashtag. Can you come up with one, Kim?
Well, I hope it's Melissa Lena. Curious, I think it's really interesting that at 16, were you singing jazz then?
I was always jazz.
So that's interesting because, like you said, first off, it's having a resurgence, which, by the way, it's having a resurgence in a much younger audience because there's a group of young women who are really singing, who are young and hip and getting attention, right?
I think it's amazing. So my neighbor, her 16-year-old daughter, loves Olivia Dean.
Right.
All of these girls are really getting into jazz and this new vibe, and I think that's so fantastic.
I do,
to
too.
see them like expanding their horizons, and because today what you get basically is your top 40, right? And you don't, to some extent, there really isn't even much rock and roll or anything anymore. It's like
exactly
hip hop, rap.
It's pop.
Pop, right? So it's just nice to see them sort of expanding their horizon.
Most definitely. What expanded yours there, though, at 16?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think I was always listening to everything. I think when you're doing music, you really have to pass through all the genres. So I obviously had to do some vocal training, and there was some hard work on the back end as far as, getting in the studio and helping other artists record in the studio. And then it was artist royalties and realizing, the more of the business side, like, how do you actually make a living from this? And the artist royalties, it's hard. I mean, every song play online, it's like 0.004 cents per play. It's really, you got to do this because you love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you sing any other genre at any other time?
Oh, any other time. Yeah, I do jazz pop. My grandmother was a country singer, so I can yodel. That's my fun
Stop.
fact. I'm not going to yodel. But we can dabble with some harmonies.
What's your go-to shower song?
Ooh, great question.
Yeah.
Actually, that's an easy one. The other day, it was Dreamgirls. I was singing One Night Only. And it's everything sounds better in the shower.
It does.
I'm like,
I can even sing in the shower.
That's great.
So what's the dream? What do you hope you'll accomplish? Where will it go?
I just want to keep singing. I think that I want to be around other creatives. That's my adult playtime. And I want to keep evolving on my sound. I think the sonic of my music is starting to really polish itself and come together. But working amongst other creatives, I really can't take all the credit. It's been a really inspiring moment in my life to be around other artists.
Where are you creating this music and writing it?
I'm doing a lot from home originally, especially my early writings. Melodies have always been easy for me. They get stuck in my head. I grew up singing as soon as I could talk. But then I will bring a lot of these to other people and say, what do you hear from my music? What do you think is worth pursuing right now? Because this market, like I said, the point of entry is high, and you really need to be able to find something to penetrate the sound that sounds new. And then I'll go to the studios. I was going down to Nashville most recently to Blackbird Studios, and I was like really a huge fan of horns and brass instruments, so we had to outsource. We went to Boo Mitchell, down in Memphis. I apologize. And it was just wonderful to see these guys add their own flair. So it's not all me, but it's definitely the heartbeat and the melodies are mine. The lyrics are mine, because I realized, that's the best way to do this, is participate.
Sure. Absolutely. Sure. Is there a stage that you dream of?
Oh, totally. I would love to sing at the Carlisle in New York City.
We're
manifesting.
Right.
I think you are a manifester too, by the way, are you not?
I feel like there's definitely power in, putting it out there.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there.
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely.
And I feel like you're successful at anything you do, so it's great.
Thank you. My last song that came out was called Underestimate Me for a reason. You turn into another animal when someone underestimates you, but it's like an opportunity. It gives you room to rise above and show your resilience.
Yeah, yeah. Will there be a level at which you will say, or maybe you already do, it's success? What is success?
To me, success is making great music.
Okay.
I would love to just make some great songs that are timeless and that hold weight, not just in today's era.
Yeah.
That to me would be the best thing.
I mean, a lot of people think success is, dollars.
I think that for me, it's definitely one of those things. I think today it's about trust and knowing that I'm going to keep showing up for me, right? More than anything, that I'm going to stay driven in this. So it's always been music, and it just, every time I try to get away from it, it just finds me back anyway.
Yeah, it's a magnet. It's just drawing you in, right? Exactly. Okay, so now I would need to ask you, because you have already said that, obviously you're a writer, and you said that melodies, you hear them in your head. This is very much like, this reminds me of when I have an author on, and I'm always like, did you see that book? Did you see the end before you started to write? Do you, how does this work? So how do you hear this in your head? Are you just walking down the street and you just start to hear something? How does this go down? Because I don't hear anything like that.
When I was younger, it was like, I'm brushing my hair, I'm brushing my teeth. It was very simple, right? It was like very much what you probably already could imagine a little kid singing is like. But then it just became like, oh, I hear it. I hear it in the world. I hear it. I don't have a perfect pitch or anything like that, but I just loop sounds. Like, I think it's sort of one of those things that I hear something and I like to resolve, and then other times I like to not create resolve. I like to leave you wanting more. And those are the things that I've been really working hard on.
But do you hear this in a writing session, or do you hear this in the shower?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, music is everywhere, and it's running around all the time in my house. It's like our shared language.
Yeah. But you hear it all the time?
All the time.
And do you sketch it down real quick for fear that you may not hear it again?
I'll put it in my notes in my phone, like the voice memos.
Yeah.
Just in case, because you're right. There's a minute where it might fade.
Yeah.
Do you ever wake up at like 3 a.m? Like, oh my gosh, grab your phone, sing into it.
It's mostly night thinking, though. My mind is more clear at night.
Are you a lyricist as well? Do you write the lyrics?
I would say I'm getting better at that. I want to claim that one. Well, let's come back to that one next time I'm on the show. But I have a sister who's helped me refine a lot of my writing. She's more of a poet than I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, though.
Yes.
That's so great.
Yes.
Right?
I think it's so interesting that I don't know. I think it took me a long time to put together the fact that the person who is writing the music isn't always writing the lyrics.
Totally.
And sometimes people come to have lyrics, but they have no melody, and vice versa. And I did not, it took me a long time to put that together, but I think that's amazing that you hear the music
at this point,
and they.
This has just been me doing it on my own, but I really think it's starting to take off. It's been wonderful. I've had a lot of great feedback, but I welcome other people to co-write. I think there's something nice about the collaboration.
Sure.
You get inspired, you build, and there's nothing but like value add. You're just both
Right. With anything, ideas,
experiences too. You're
right.
bringing different kinds of experiences together, which are probably known to many people. When you bring the two together, it has to be that way. Okay, so Friday. So we're taping this on the 3rd of March. So on Friday, March here I go, 7th, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That's when you're dropping the music?
Yes.
And where will people be able to find it?
You can find now, too. I have Underestimate Me.
Yes,
out
you do,
now.
which is great. And it's got a great video.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? It's one of those things, she's stepping into earned confidence. This is I'm personifying right now, but it's really this moment where you look at your life, you look back and you're realizing, there's always these moments where we've all been underestimated. And you just step in and you say, you know what, I've earned a seat at the table. I'm taking it. No
That's
one's
such a
gonna
great
give it to
message, though, Melissa. It really is for women of any age.
100%, you bet, for sure.
Take it.
Take it, exactly. Is it Keeping Up with the Joneses?
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
And that's Friday. Okay, where you find it? Wherever?
Spotify and Apple.
Yep.
Apple Music.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Melissa Lena is her name, and be sure that you check it out, folks, because you're going to love every second of it. It's going to become background music at my house. That is for certain. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Continued success.
Coming. Thank you so much.
Yeah, continued success. We're going to take a break, everybody. When we come back, a member of a band you may be very, very familiar with will be joining us. This is Kerrigan and Company. Boston is full of smart, driven professionals whose lives are full, but their love lives, well, not so much. That's where Allure Matchmaking comes in. Led by Jill Vander, Boston's most respected matchmaker with more than 25 plus years of experience, Allure eliminates the noise of dating apps and replaces it with discretion, dignity, and high-quality introductions. Every match is thoughtfully vetted and personally selected. No public profiles, no endless swiping, and no guessing games. If you're you're ready to stop wasting time and level up your dating life, contact AllureMatchmaking.com today.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumson's. Life lived. Life enjoyed.
Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. It's so great to have you with us. Jessica Hennessy is keeping me company today. And of course, we just had Melissa on. She's so great.
She is such a sweetheart.
I'm excited for her and that music dropping on Friday. And I really hope, and I'll remind everybody at the end here about that, because I hope people will be sure to download her great music. We're thrilled to have our next musician.
I know,
joining
I'm so
us.
excited.
You bet. He is the bassist for the popular band Extreme. I didn't realize that so many of these guys, they're all from the Boston area, which is really great. And he also does a bit of singing. It is great to have Pat Badger with us. How you doing, my friend?
Thank you so much for having me, Kim. I'm so glad to be here. And hi, Jessica. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Pat. Nice to meet you, too.
So, Pat, I really didn't realize, and certainly I know Extreme's music, I just didn't realize all you guys were from around here.
Yeah, the city of Boston has been our home. Well, three of us have lived. Oh, sorry, I just dropped something. Three of us have lived in Boston, but our guitar player Nuno lives out in California now.
Yeah.
But we formed, playing all the Boston clubs, like the Channel back in the day, and Narcissus, which was in Kenmore Square, and the Rat, and all the clubs that you knew, Paradise, all those places.
Yeah.
The Spit, was that one?
You guys are such an example of so many fabulous bands sort of in that same era that were coming out of here. Was everybody friends? Did everybody know each other?
We did. We all kind of played in different bands around Boston. And then, we used to, sometimes our original drummer, Paul, and Gary, our singer, who's still in the band, they had a band called The Dream back in the day. And then Nuno and I used to open up for those guys, like in our various bands. And eventually just all the pieces of the puzzle fell together. And then we had we were playing clubs and got a record deal like in 1987 or so.
Yeah.
How long we've been at it.
The Boston music scene back then was amazing, right? There were all of these great bands and also all these great venues where bands could kind of get in there and really cut their teeth. But today, someone's discovered playing something in their living room and then shown on YouTube. What's been gained and lost there, do you think?
Oh, it's definitely a whole different paradigm now where, artists are, like you said, discovered on the internet, on either on Instagram, or they have followers before a record company won't even look at them to sign them unless they have like 1 million followers on TikTok or something. So it's, we were definitely in a great era where we definitely cut our teeth in rehearsal rooms and played every little Boston club and developed a following. And then the record company came out to see us and, kind of looked around and said, wow, if it's working here in Boston, then it could work in, New York or, California or Tokyo. So it was a different era than, the pre-internet. I would love to go just back there.
Right. I think that's why I ask you, about the music scene here in Boston, because there were, again, so many bands that came out of here, and I'm sure all of you guys knew each other. Let me ask you, Extreme's, one of your biggest hits is a ballad. Mm-hmm. And More Than Words, a song that you hear on a regular basis at this stage at weddings. I still hear it on a regular basis, and it still is such a great song. I was trying to sing it last night to my kids on they're away, but I was on the phone with them, and both of them were like, Mom, we know what that song is, but you've disguised it, so don't try it again anywhere else. We fortunately know what it is. But you guys weren't a ballad band.
We always had influences of the bands that we grew up listening to, and again, not to compare us or put them in our same league as these bands, but the Beatles had songs that were more rock and roll, and then they had songs like Yesterday or Blackbird that were like just a simple ballad,
Sure.
Led Zeppelin, the same thing. And so we kind of grew up listening to those classic bands. Another band I can mention is Queen, that they had such varying styles of music. And then I think somewhere along the lines, people started thinking, oh, bands, that this song sounds like this, then they must be like this. They didn't have as much, diversity in the music. So, it was one song that was kind of out of, or in left field for us, because most of our stuff was more hard rock, like say like Aerosmith or Van Halen or something. But it was the only song that me and the drummer Paul did not play on that record. So the next record, I said, you guys, we should do more of these songs where we don't play on it.
I feel confident that's not why the song was a hit. Do you have a moment in your days, 87, 88, whatever, do you have a moment or a time that you reflect back on and you think, wow, all of a sudden we knew we made it?
So, we did, I do remember there was a time when we were playing in all the clubs and we just got our record deal and we were looking for managers. And we had, at the time, this guy, Tim Collins, managed Aerosmith. And he was kind of interested in the band and I think he wanted to kind of try us out or see what we were all about. So he had us come up to, I think it was in Maine, and we opened for Aerosmith in an arena. And that was when we were like, oh my God, this is what it's like to play like 12,000 people. It was the first time we had a really big show like that. And then the next night, I think we were back at Club 3 in Somerville, and we just came crashing back down. No, it was really that whole era of like the early, or late 80s into 90s. I remember seeing our video on MTV for the first time and those kind of things. So
yeah,
I can reflect back to that whole era, and it was a magical time for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it everything you thought it would be? What was the most surprising, I guess? Right.
Everything and more, because over time then, obviously More Than Words was such a big hit, and suddenly we're selling millions of records, and we're getting asked to do some really big tours with some major bands that we grew up listening to. And then, we had, some really incredible experiences, like meeting all of the idols that we grew up listening to. So all that stuff, it really was and continues to be a lot of our ambitions and dreams did, without sounding corny, did really come true for us.
Yeah, and you guys still touring today, and I know you said you guys are going to be out starting in April for a big chunk of the year. Is it the same now? What's different now?
So, again, I don't know. I mean, a lot's different as far as the record industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not selling. I mean, we put a new album out, I'd say 3 years ago.
Right.
And it really was like pouring gasoline on a fire that was kind of dying. And we've had a lot of opportunities in the last 3 years that hadn't been coming for decades. And it almost feels like the 90s again. When we come to our shows, there's a lot of, sold out crowds. And the fun thing is that there's a lot of older people like ourselves that have been following us for years, but now they're bringing their kids that are like teenagers and stuff. So we see a lot of new faces out there, younger people really enjoying our music, and I'm watching them sing along, and they're singing songs that were written and recorded before they were born. So it's fun to have a multi-generation of fans out there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, it's so great that you guys are from the 80s till 2026. What's the secret sauce to keep everything working?
I think just again to continue to make good music, and we've all taken care of ourselves, and none of us have been to rehab, and we go on some of these other kind of hair metal cruises and some of these festivals they have, and it's wild because some of the bands you're like, wow, they're looking kind of old and tired, phoning it in or just whatever. The Extreme's never been a band who's phoned it in. Like, we go out every show is our last.
Yeah.
And so we just have a lot of fun live, and I think it just comes across. People enjoy the shows. We've had good fortune of also having music been placed in certain things. Like you said, More Than Words gets, aired a lot. But even it was a couple of years ago, Stranger Things is actually a huge show.
Of course.
And my one of our kids came down the stairs one day, and he's like, "Oh my God, your song was just in Stranger Things, the opening episode." And I'm like, "Really? Oh, that's cool. What's Stranger Things?" Oh. So yeah, I don't know. We've had good fortune as far as like staying relevant.
I'm so glad that happened for you because it made you legit to your kids. Isn't that great? Right? Oh yeah, you were in Stranger Things. You are somebody. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You have also been involved with another band because I've read the backstory on this. Pat, you were a huge Eagles fan. And when Glenn Frey passed away, you felt compelled to go out and to pay tribute.
It is absolutely true. Yeah. I was always a big fan of their music. Obviously, their harmonies were really, Extreme has a lot of harmonies, but, I learned how to singing along to Eagles records and Beatles and stuff. So I had been really inspired by, before we started airing, you mentioned Barry Gaudreau from Boston. Boston was a big influence for me, and Brad Delp, the singer, R.I.P. Brad, but he had Beetlejuice, which was a Beatles tribute band, before tribute bands were a thing. Like he just would go out and sing because he loved the music, and it was like, so I always was inspired saying, if I ever did anything outside of, Extreme, maybe I'd do something where I sing and maybe play guitar, because in Extreme I play bass. So I started having an idea of doing this Eagles tribute, and then I found out within like a couple of weeks after having a couple of conversations about it that Glenn Frey had passed away, and then it became not should I do it, it was like I have to do it kind of thing. So,
yeah, right.
But it has been an absolute blast to do this Eagles tribute, because it is like, it's like getting together in the basement with the guys and back to the egg and just playing songs from the bands we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's good. They're called, you call it Dark Desert Eagles.
Yep.
And I know that you said, Extreme is out for a number of months, so you guys maybe are not playing as frequently, but there is an engagement at the North Shore Music Theater coming up April 25th. So we'll remind our listeners and our viewers about that. Have you ever met Don Henley? Have you talked to him about this? Have you had that chance?
So I didn't talk to him about this because I met him way back. Must have been 1990, like right when Extreme was, kind of when More Than Words was blowing up. But he actually the manager for my Dark Desert Eagles knows Don, and he invited me to this fundraiser that Don was having for the Walden Woods project.
Yes. Yes.
So he, he's notoriously kind of not the easiest person to really talk to or get to know. And so at the time, I was just a kid. I mean, but he was very kind to me, and which I was, now in hindsight, I'm very happy, because I've heard he's not always the kindest person. But no, he was great, and maybe it was just because he was, fundraising, that he was nice to but no, I never talked to him about, the Eagles. I don't think he would be too fond of having a tribute band, but who knows?
Yeah, well, people love the Eagles, and I know they probably enjoy. I know you. I had a chance to click on and listen to some of the performances, and you guys do a great job. The Eagles, any of them should be proud.
You have to come out and see us live sometime.
Yeah, well, maybe I could come to the music theater when you guys do it up there next month.
It is a fun show, because it is a tribute where like every song is a hit. You would recognize every song, and we go. It's not just us getting up there and playing the music. We do the whole tribute band thing where I glue on a Fu Manchu mustache like Glenn Frey, and the other guys. We all portray the classic Eagles '70s, at the height of their career, like the Hotel California era. And we try to like bring people back to a simpler time. And there's a little onstage banter, and it's almost like you're stepping back in time, and there's commentary and some jokes and that kind of thing. It's more of an entertainment experience, just going to hear music.
Yeah.
Over February break, my 16-year-old son, this is literally just a couple weeks ago, was blasting the Eagles' greatest hits albums. And I just thought that was so wonderful that music really does transcend decades, and it resonates with everyone because of the melodies are perfect. It's
true.
Beautiful. So it's great stuff that you're putting it out there for people to hear.
That's the #1 selling album of all times.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Hotel California.
It just was certified 4 Diamond or something, which is like 400 million copies.
Wow.
And then I think Michael Jackson's second, and then the Eagles' Hotel California is third.
Wow.
So that just shows how, I'm talking above Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, everybody.
Right.
They sold more records than anybody.
Yeah.
What an incredible catalog of music, and really it's a blessing to be able to do it and have fun doing it. So.
Pat Badger is our guest. And Pat, one last thing I have to bring up. You're an alpaca farmer.
So I am not currently an alpaca.
Oh, okay.
I have had alpacas. There was a time when Extreme was, when things were kind of slow and I was looking for something to do. And so I did have a herd of like 20-something alpacas for a while. And I would take them to shows and stuff, like how they have dog shows or whatever.
Wow. Did you get into knitting?
I used to do alpaca shows. It was great for a while.
Do they show like best in show kind of thing? I'm not really. I was unaware of that.
Yeah. And like dogs, there's a certain like perfect breed or perfect, and
Love it.
they have obviously come in so many colors that they will, all compete in different, various colors and age groups, and then they'll all obviously at the end of the show they do narrow it down to a best in show. So, but it was fun. But I got so busy touring and stuff that. No more alpacas for me, but we still do have a horse and a donkey, and I do live on a farm, which I would never give up. It's it's a quiet thing to do when I'm not in the crazy of
absolutely. Yeah. I love that. That's a cool thing. Get away from the shining of the spotlight. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much for taking time and coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Really, the pleasure is all mine.
We really enjoyed it, and want to remind everybody that Dark Desert Eagle, North Shore Music Theater, that is on April the 25th. Tickets are available now. Be sure you check it out.
Pat, we do have a website, the darkdeserteagles.com.
Yep.
So the tickets you can find there and more info about the band. And we'll see you on the road with Extreme this year. We're coming back through with Motley Crue sometime this summer. We're going out with Def Leppard in Europe and the UK.
Yeah.
And next stop is South America with Guns N' Roses. So,
my gosh, so much fun. Good for you. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy every minute of it. We'll look for you guys. I think you're going to be down at Great Woods or someplace. I remember.
Yeah, we're at the Xfinity.
Yeah, the Xfinity.
Well, you and I, we
Great Woods.
Still call it.
Thank you. I walked myself right into that, didn't I, Pat?
You're there in July, I believe, or August.
That's great. Super. Hey, thanks again. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Nice meeting you too.
We're going to wrap things up here on Kerrigan & Company in just a moment. Stay with us.
My name is Dr. Howard Kesselman. I'm the medical director at Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa in Beverly, Massachusetts. I'd like to discuss with you 3 benefits of GLP beyond those of weight loss, with which I think many are familiar. Number 1 is very favorable and protective effects on the heart. Number 2 is very potent anti-inflammatory effects. Number 3, kidney disease, very protective against progression of chronic kidney disease.
For a free GLP-1 consultation, go to siennaesthetics.com and book today. This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Well, this has been so much fun, and unfortunately, we've come to the part of the show where we wrap things up. Jessica Hennessy keeping me company today. Have you enjoyed it?
This has been so much fun. Thank you so much, Tim, honestly.
Pat was so cool, right?
Made my Tuesday. He was amazing. I mean, that was really exciting. Obviously, More Than Words is a song that everyone knows. So to meet someone who's behind it was pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
it
cool.
is amazing if you go in and you listen to Extreme's greatest hits and you hear More Than Words, and then you go to the next song and you think, I've clearly clicked to a different
Totally
band.
different.
I mean, it really is dramatically different. And my producer and I were talking about this. You know, if you were someone who went to see Extreme because of More Than Words and you got there and you didn't know who they were, you would think, I'm at the wrong concert.
Right.
So it really is dramatic, but it's great. And I mean, good for them.
And honestly, that song kind of plays into what he's doing now with the Eagles, those melodies and the beautiful
Absolutely.
harmonizations.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I think they were. If you go back and you sort of study them, they were a group of incredible musicians who have done a lot with other bands. Their guitar player is considered one of the greatest rock and roll guitar players of all times. So they're really an interesting band, and it's so cool that they're out there
And
touring.
also hometown boys
I
from
know.
Boston, right? So.
Isn't that so fun?
Yeah,
it's
I love
so
that.
fun. All right, so tell me about you. What's coming up next?
Well, this has been the highlight of my month right here.
Oh, now I don't believe that. It's early in the month. There's a lot of time to come.
So I just, for me, I am working on little video projects that I do,
Yeah.
some cooking videos. Kim and I keep talking about when can we get together and collaborate. Again, working for clients.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to give a plug is that I'm a co-chair for the Lenny Zakem Fund's
Yes.
Light the Night event, which is at the end of September. The Zakem Fund, I don't know if anyone knows about it, is such a fabulous organization because they support local grassroots organizations that otherwise couldn't get the funding, and then also provide them with the training and know-how to really use that money to get the best out of it, and it makes our communities stronger, and I think that that's just such a wonderful thing, so I'm really passionate about it, so I just love to give that little plug.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that you did. I think that's so important, and that's a wonderful. It's a wonderful organization because it just funds so many other like you said, grassroots.
And I mean, you look at some of the things they do that are helping kids or dads or people with special needs and just
Sure.
really getting in. And there's this one great charity that they supported in Worcester is a hydroponic farm that not only teaches kids how to farm, but then the food that they use growing out of nothing in the city, they then give to local food banks.
It's awesome.
So it's just really great stuff.
Right. Yeah, I love those kinds of organizations like the Zakem organization because it no doubt touches something that's important to you, you know, so you're supporting just a whole lot. Well, so that's coming up in September.
Yep.
Good for you. And people can go to the Haute Life.
Yeah.
And
Follow
you're
us
going
on Instagram.
Yeah.
See what we're up to.
Sure, absolutely. Great to see you.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
to see
you.
you.
Thanks for taking
Yeah.
the time. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate it here. And thanks to all of you for taking the time. It's been a great episode, and I appreciate you being with us. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure you subscribe. And otherwise, be sure you follow us on all social media. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.